to the second edition of Keepin It Reel. I'm your host, Chelsey Orihuela. Keepin It Reel is about stories that matter to the school. Don't you ever just wonder why you can or can't use your cell phones in class? Here to explain why is Lolly Miranda.
Thank you, Chelsey. Today's topic is cell phones in class. Some teachers have the same opinion about using mobile devices during class. And this is what they said.
Starting with the advantages, in my opinion, I think using the technology in the classroom is really valuable. And if kids have access to doing research on their phones, or if they want to do any calculating on their phones, doing any graphing on their phones, I like the idea of kids being able to use them in class.
I think cell phones should be allowed in class. The reason I think this is I think that cell phones are a great tool to give students to be able to check their grades. We don't have computers available for every student, and that way students could check their grades often and keep on top of their assignments and their missing work so that they can be more responsible and aware of what's going on in school.
The Constitution of the United States does not say anywhere about the usage of cell phones, and yet there is an elastic clause that says perhaps we do need to create some sort of laws that will allow the use of cell phones. Now, rules are very important, as you know, and there have to be rules for how cell phones are being used in class. If it's being used only for learning, then I am 100% in favor of the usage of cell phones while being inside a classroom. But if for any reason why a student uses a cell phone for other than learning, then I am against it, 100%.
The reason I don't allow cell phones in class is that I have found that middle school students are not able to act professionally with them. I don't mind using them for research or the calculator, but when I give that opportunity, most of the time people end up checking their texts and emails and not do what they're supposed to do with their phones.
I think that it can be a problem if students aren't taught the right way to use their phones and when to use it appropriately. So I would suggest that every student ask their teacher what their policy is on cell phones before they pull it out and start using it in class. Excuse me for a second.
As you can see, some teachers allow cell phones in class for certain purposes. So be careful on how you use your cell phone in class. Back to you, Chelsey.
Thank you, Lolly. Times have certainly changed with technology. Some school rules don't always make a lot of sense to students, but there is a reason behind them. Here to explain and give us more information is Michael Gonzalez. Michael?
Thanks, Chelsey. Did you know in Arizona it's illegal to drive in reverse? Did you know in Oklahoma it's illegal to make funny faces at dogs? These weird laws are still in effect today. Are you aware of crazy classroom rules? Did you wonder why they exist? Well, I'm here to discover why these rules still remain. Here's some people who know some crazy classroom rules.
The question was raised, why do we not allow Sharpies at school? And that's a really great question, and it comes up with kids every year. And I think the best answer for that is that most people are trained to write on paper or things that they're supposed to write on, but sometimes people write on walls, and that causes problems for us, as you can imagine. And Sharpies are permanent markers, so we don't want to have any writing on our walls in the bathrooms or elsewhere. So in order to keep our campus looking as fabulous as it does, we have to limit those types of things on campus.
Okay. I don't allow lead pencils in my classroom because they become weapons of mass destruction and toys that become a distraction to the learning process. I prefer that students use regular pencils that you can put in the sharpener. An example of a weapon of mass destruction are the metal parts used to carve in desks and toys using the lead, to put it in and out of the pencil. Those are just some of the reasons. There are many more. As for other teachers using lead pencils in their classroom, that's up to them. I don't have any control over that.
And it is the school's responsibility for students once they leave their home throughout the day and when they walk home back to their home. Parents are sending their students to school and giving the schools the responsibilities for their children until they return home, so that's why the law is there.
Lots of students like to complain about school rules and even classroom rules, but they should know every teacher develops those rules from their own experiences with students. Some of those experiences revolve around the irresponsible things that students have done in the classroom. As a result of that, the rule was created. So the next time you want to complain about a school rule, You really have to think about how maybe you or your friends acted irresponsibly and actually helped create the rule that you're complaining about. Most teachers want to give you as much leeway as possible, as much freedom as possible, but you have to show that you can handle it.
From no lead pencils to no Sharpies, these were some good rules and laws. Next time you hear a weird rule or law, ask yourself why this exists. Back to you, Chelsey.
Thanks, Michael. Knowing the background of different rules helps us all understand why we have them. It isn't just students who have rules. Schools have to follow all kinds of rules given to them by the district, state, and even the federal government. This is especially true when it comes to food here at school. Here's Valeria Sanchez with more information.
Thank you, Chelsey. My name's Valeria Sanchez. Did you know schools have to follow all kinds of rules when it comes to school foods? We as students complain all the time about the lack of varieties of food. Wouldn't it be great if we could have vending machines or ice cream at school? Here's Miss Prince to give us her opinion about that.
Okay, my opinion about vending machines, I really don't think they're a very good idea. I really want to encourage all the students to eat a very healthy diet, and that includes snacks. And I think the kind of food items that are generally sold at a vending machine are generally not very healthy. They're very processed, usually high in sugar, sometimes high in fat. So I eat healthy snacks. In fact, here's my snack for today, an apple. So I think it's better to just have healthy things that you bring from home if you get hungry, which I understand that you might. And also generally vending machines I think are very expensive. You can go buy things that are a lot less expensive at home, make your own cookies and things like that so that they're a healthier kind of cookie, and just eat, you know, fresh fruit and vegetables, celery sticks, carrot sticks, those kind of things. So I would say no, in my opinion, for vending machines.
As Miss Prince said, vending machines can be expensive, but you also have the option to bring your own lunch. The USDA believes that if they change the way we eat at school, it'll affect the way we eat at home. So the cafeteria ladies really have no say in what they serve us. We asked a couple students if the school foods affect the way they eat at home. Here's what they had to say.
The school lunch affects the way I eat at home because here I eat greasier pizza than I would at home.
The school lunch affects the way I eat at home because at home I eat more protein than what I eat here.
As you can see, both students said they eat more unhealthy at school than they do at home. So, would it really make a difference if we had vending machines at school? Back to you, Chelsey.
Thank you, Valeria. I guess student complaints about food needs to be directed a lot higher than our cafeteria. Do you think ghosts are real? Well, some people believe in ghosts and some don't. Here to talk more about it is Gabby Sanchez.
Do you believe in ghosts? Because most people do. Over 160 years ago, the Mexican government kicked the Native Americans out of here. They also might have killed for this land. Do you think the spirits of the Native Americans are still here with us today? Maybe. Ghosts is an interesting topic people question lots of times. Here's what I found out.
Recently I read an article about those Native Americans and that land and how they were removed from the land and how those Native Americans had lived there supposedly since 500 BC. And that they were removed by the Spaniards, who then gave the land to these wealthy people. So who knows, maybe there's some truth to that. Maybe they had an unresolved situation there, and so they couldn't rest in peace because they were thrown out of their homes.
I think people believe in ghosts because they like to be scared, and so most people think ghosts are scary, so that's why they believe in them.
I think a lot of people believe in ghosts because of things they've witnessed in their lives, you know? Maybe things they've witnessed or feelings they've had, and they've been in certain places, because some places have a creepy feeling. Like that Wineville house, I would never want to live there, not after all of those children had been murdered there.
Back in 1926 through 1928, the Wineville chicken coop murders grabbed the headlines. There were 19 deaths in total. The complete bodies were never found, but people say the farm is still haunted by those who were killed.
The man who they were investigating, whose name I don't remember, that he was actually murdering boys and dismembering them. And he was put on trial here in Riverside, and he was hanged. Back then they would do hangings, so he was hanged for murdering all of those little boys. I don't know how many he killed. I know they found a lot of bones
I'm pretty sure people, especially the ones who live around the Wineville area, you know, kid, you're the one I'm talking about. When you hear things at night, when things go creak in the middle of the night, that's a ghost.
Do you know 45% of Americans believe in ghosts? No ghosts have ever been confirmed, caught, or examined by anyone, but people still believe in them. It's mysterious how ghosts are apparently evil spirits, but no one really knows. Let's see who thinks ghosts are real.
I believe in ghosts because I believe in reincarnation.
I think I believe in ghosts. I think that people who maybe have unresolved issues in life, maybe they can't rest in peace. You know, they say that thing, rest in peace, when someone passes away. So since they can't rest in peace, they kind of hang around until maybe they can figure out a way to actually rest in peace.
Why do I believe in ghosts? I've seen ghosts. I've seen dead people. They're everywhere. They're behind you. They're behind me. All over the school. I believe in ghosts because they talk to me all the time.
There can be a scientific explanation to everything, but it's up to you whether you believe in ghosts or not. Back to you, Chelsey.
Thanks, Gabby. Well, do you believe in ghosts now? On Friday, September 4th, Loma Middle School went on a code red lockdown. This happened after school and most students were gone already when the intruder came on our campus. Here with the full story is Bibi Navarro. Bibi?
Thank you, Chelsey. I'm sure we've all heard of the code red that occurred here September 4, 2015. We've interviewed many staff members, starting with Deputy Maldonado, to see exactly what they had to say. Here's what really happened.
About 3:30, when school was being let out, I observed the vehicle driving northbound on Steve Avenue just in front of the school. We believe he entered on the south perimeter fence through some houses and got onto the school campus from there.
I called the office and told him that there was an intruder on campus, and he was heading toward the buildings of the physical education area as well as toward the main campus.
I did see him enter Miss Pritchard's room. I think it was about 3:48, and it was like right after school, and that was when the code red was called on the announcements.
On this case, we had an actual intruder on campus, so we went to code red. This is where the doors are locked, but we need to take precautionary safety steps that your teachers have gone through with you or will go through with you in terms of, staying away from windows. Instructions will probably stop. Classroom instruction will stop, and then we'll have to go to more of safety areas, whether that's putting up tables in front of windows. Students really need to listen to their teachers when it comes to that. We really need your cooperation.
There were the students that were located on a bus ready to depart. We had them back up and go through the back part of the bus loop. And then we had a few students actually waiting for a bus and Think Together students. Once we got the code red, we moved the students that we had waiting for their bus into the NPR along with the Think Together students.
I could hear the sheriffs checking room to room, and I saw the police checking room D9, okay? They weren't sure which room he was in, though. So they started checking all the D wings. They knew he was in the D wing, but they didn't know which room. And then they walked down and they stopped and talked, and then they checked D8, which was where the person was hiding.
He was ultimately located in room D8 here at the Loma Middle School.
When they came, they burst into the room. What Miss Aragon did was really super smart, because she opened the door and had him come out first, and then she shut the door. And then the police come bursting into my room and scared the living daylights out of me. They came in and they're like, "Oh, it's just you, it's a teacher," and they kind of relaxed.
Once we located him at the school, he was not armed. He was under the influence of narcotics.
Well, now we know how important all these drills are. You might think we do them for no reason, but all these years of practice might soon be put to use. We must always be prepared, whether it's before school, during school, or in this case, after school. Back to you, Chelsey.
Thank you, Bibi. That day will certainly be remembered by anyone who was here at school. We want to thank all of the law enforcement officers who responded to the incident that day. Their training and the training of all the teachers and staff helped to ensure everyone's safety. Well, that's it for the second edition of Keepin' It Real. I'm your host, Chelsey Orihuela, thanking you for watching and reminding you to keep it real. Bye.